Hello and welcome to Dingoes Ate My Podcast, Season 2. I'm Paul,
I'm Dave.
and this week we're going to start with the first episode of Angel, City of. So, in this episode, well, we should probably start off with this episode originally aired October 5th, 1999. Now, Dave, do you have any idea what the number one movie in America was this week?
Well, then.
You, I'd be surprised if you knew this one.
mm, the one thing that's coming to my mind is a particular horror film, but I don't think it was Saw, is what my brain was thinking it was.
No, Saw would be like 2000. No, that would be like in the 2000s.
Further than
Yeah, that would have been more like 2005,
here.
2006.
Nah, nothing's immediately springing to mind.
It's a movie called Double Jeopardy with Ashley Judd and Tommy Lee Jones. You've probably never seen it.
I have a weird feeling that there would have been a lot of confusion with that film being there.
It's
Like, I could most likely see it with just the title alone, but even then, just kind of the case of, wow, just with that, there are a lot of people that would probably be confused.
yeah, it's not a very good movie. There's no need to see it. Number one song in America this week.
Here in October. Hmm, I still would have been that young. I doubt it would have been what I was most likely listening to at the time. Hmm, still nothing there.
It's a song you're not gonna know it. Again, you're not gonna know this one. It's a song called "Unpretty" by TLC.
The name rings slightly a bell, but not with the music. I'm still drawing a blank.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to know it. I had no idea what it was. Alrighty, and for video games. Now, technically, we're going to go back in time just a teeny tiny bit because there's a few big games that came out in September.
I
so,
wouldn't be surprised.
actually, we're going to go back to August, technically. So, August 31st, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Hmm.
September 9th, Sonic Adventure.
Hmm.
September 9th, Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
September 22nd, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Yeah. Yeah.
September 30th, Age of Empires 2 The Age of Kings. September 30th, Crash Team Racing. September 30th,
Ooh.
Final Fantasy VI.
Ooh.
That was a hell of a day.
It was.
And this is the 5th, so technically we can talk about this one because October 11th, which is before the next episode, we get a little game called Jet Force Gemini, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with.
It's there, but I might be getting it confused with a couple of other ones.
It's a game Rare made on the N64. It's like a third person shooter kind of spacey game.
Okay, yes, that one.
Yeah, yeah. Alrighty, so in this episode, we start off with Angel slumping at the bar of a dive in downtown Los Angeles, growing maudlin about a girl whom he misses when he notices three guys leave the bar with two girls. Sliding seamlessly from blithering to dangerous, Angel follows them out, and with the aid of these like stake bracelet thingies that he never is going to use again, I don't know why. Like it's such a cool thing where he does the like ching and like stakes them both.
Takes the two guys, and then after the end of the night, he takes them off and puts them off to the side. It's like, oh, is this a typical thing he's equipped with? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to use them again, from memory. They happen to be vampires in a dark alley. The frightened girls, one of whom is bleeding from a minor head wound, try to thank their rescuer, but Angel warns them harshly to get away from him as he is attracted to the blood. He turns and walks down the dark alley before credits roll. After credits, Angel makes his way to his new home, a basement apartment beneath a ground floor office, where he finds Doyle waiting for him. Doyle introduces himself, explaining he's half human, half demon, then recaps the story of Angel's life, ending with his recent painful breakup with the Slayer, that's Buffy, and his subsequent move to LA. Doyle explains that Angel's isolation, combined with the fact that he drank human blood, puts him at risk of a relapse. Doyle gets visions from the powers that be, accompanied by debilitating headaches, regarding people whose lives Angel must touch. True redemption lies just not in saving lives, but in saving souls as well. Doyle concludes by handing over a scrap of paper on which he jotted down information about a young woman named Tina. When Angel asks why Tina needs him, Doyle replies that getting involved in her life enough to figure that out is Angel's first order of business. Angel finds Tina during her shift and manages to persuade her to meet him after work. Waiting by his car, Angel is surprised to see her in an elegant evening dress, and even more surprised when she pulls out pepper spray from her purse.
Makes sense.
I mean, it does. Tina accuses Angel of being employed by someone named Russell, but he slowly convinces her to accept his offer of a lift to a fabulous Hollywood party she plans to attend. When they arrive, Angel runs into Cordelia Chase, who tells him she is now a successful actress who lives in a condo in Malibu, which we'll find out isn't entirely true.
Yeah.
Tina returns to Angel saying a man named Stacy was harassing her, and that she's ready to leave. On their way to the parking garage, Angel fights off Stacy and his goons. Meanwhile, in her dingy apartment, Cordelia hangs up her one dress and eats the food she smuggled out of the party while listening to a discouraging phone message from Joe, her talent agent. It's clear this is the only food she has, and she says trying to encourage herself with positive thinking. As she tries to convince herself that she doesn't want to eat anything after Tina falls asleep, Angel spends the night on the public library's computers, searching for information about Tina's friend, Denise, who disappeared after becoming involved with Russell. The next morning, Angel tells Tina that he believes her friend Denise was murdered. As she listens, Tina suddenly spots Doyle's note listing her name and workplace, and convinced afresh that Angel has been running some scam for Russell, panics and runs. Angel tries to grab her at the building's entrance, but sunlight burns his hand, causing him to vamp out, and Tina is able to escape. Russell finds Tina when she returns to her apartment to pack. She allows herself to be drawn into his arms. Russell vamps and bites her. This is where we find out that he is, ding ding ding, a vampire.
Oh, man.
Angel rushes to the rescue, only to find Tina beyond his help, and he sees the bite marks on her throat, the whole deal. Russell meets with a young lawyer from Wolfram and Hart, Lindsay McDonald, who isn't named, I don't think, in this episode, but he will be eventually, to discuss his airtight, if fictitious, alibi in the matter of Tina's unfortunate demise, and orders the lawyer to bring him Cordelia, whom he has selected as his next victim. That's nothing important, he just wants something to eat. Angel tracks down Stacy and interrogates him until he reveals Winter's location. He then persuades a reluctant Doyle to help him avenge Tina's death. Excited by her limo ride to meet Russell Winters, Cordelia is impressed with his ornate mansion. After the butler ushers her into Russell's den, Cordelia promptly spills the story of her life to the seemingly sympathetic host until she notices the unusually heavy drapes and lack of mirrors, and concludes aloud that Winters is a vampire. He, of course, denies this, but she's like, "Nah, I know about vampires.
I know about
vampires.
I've lived in a hellmouth for most of my life, and here it's talking to a vampire alone."
Yes. Winters vamps and reaches for Cordelia, who pivots toward the door. Angel has scaled the wall at Winters' estate and blown out a junction box, causing the lights to go out as Russell captures Cordelia at the top of the stairs. Shielding Cordelia with his body, Angel takes several bullets from Winter's guards as he picks her up and jumps over the rail to land in the foyer below. Evading more gunfire, they stagger out to the convertible, and Doyle, who had, rather foolishly, crashed the convertible into the front gate while trying to help after hearing the gunshots, drives away with them all in the car. At the apartment, Doyle extracts bullets from Angel's torso while Cordelia dresses the wounds. The next day, Angel stalks to the top floor of the conference room at Russell Winters Enterprises, where Winters is conducting a meeting with Lindsay and other reps from Wolfram and Hart. They'll be important later. Not impressed by Winters' claim that he can do whatever he wants in LA, Angel asks the CEO if he can fly, then forcefully kicks his executive chair through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Exposed to direct sunlight, a screaming Winters bursts into flame and disintegrates to dust in mid-air. The chair, scorched and empty, smashes to the sidewalk below. As Angel calmly departs, Lindsay uses his cell phone to report that although the senior partners don't need to be disturbed just yet, there seems to be a new player in town. Back at home, Angel despondently calls Buffy, which you see in the season 4 premiere of Buffy. When he hears her voice, he hangs up without speaking. Later, Cordelia proposes that the three of them get a sign out front and go into the business of saving souls as a team, at least until her inevitable stardom materializes. Doyle observes many people in LA need help and asks Angel if he's game. And Angel stands alone atop a skyscraper looking over the bustling LA nightscape and responds, "I'm game. I told you he was Batman."
Much a Batman scene.
It's
Whether or
very
not it was
Batman.
from any of the movies or anything like that, it was most assuredly from any one of the cartoon shows.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're very much being like, we're gonna make our own Batman. But what did you think of the pilot episode?
Turned out pretty good and kept with most of the particular things within the series, I think, especially with a bit from where Buffy sort of came from, keeping more adult sort of aspects to it. On whole, it was good to watch.
Yeah, it's a good episode. I think it kind of does a pretty good job of setting up the kind of tone of the series. It's definitely got a darker feel to it than Buffy, but that kind of makes sense because they're tackling a more adult kind of story here.
Yes, yes.
So now for a little bit of a little bit of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I have some international titles for this episode.
Oh boy.
Unfortunately, most of them aren't very fun.
Well, it's a case of them trying to translate city of or other sort of things.
Yeah, so a lot of them are just called either City of Angels or Welcome to Los Angeles.
Okay.
That's what most of them are. There are a few good ones, though.
Oh.
Specifically, German. In German, it is Light and Shadow.
There.
And in Latin American Spanish, it is the City of Vampires.
Direct and to the point, I suppose.
I guess. Those are really the only two interesting ones, though. Now, a fun little note about this episode, it was the only episode that was ever directly novelized. However, the book contained more scenes that weren't in the episode, including a flashback that would reveal Angel's human name. Yes.
Not even including all the particular flashing scenes that they showed.
No, at this point, nobody had revealed Angel's human name.
I see.
Yeah, it had been kept a secret until I want to say it's like season 2 of Angel when it comes up, maybe.
I see.
In a flashback, maybe it's late season 1. I might be wrong. I don't remember, but yeah, it's we're gonna find out his human name. I'll give you a hint, though. He's Irish.
Supposedly not surprising.
No. So, did you have anything else about this episode you wanted to bring up?
No, makes sense. Most everything within the episode gives us cast to sort of follow, process of how everything's gonna go. It's interesting to see how it will go from here.
Yeah, yeah. So the next episode we will be discussing is called Lonely Heart. Angel and the team are going to look into a series of killings linked to a LA nightclub after Doyle has a vision that sends him to this said club. It's going to be good, and we're going to meet a new, somewhat main character.
Interesting.
Yes, we are going to meet a character who unfortunately doesn't last as long as I would have liked. But we will discuss that later. So until then,
Adios.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Dave.